Actually really refreshing to get into several different YouTube channels that have been kind of geared a little bit more towards Elvis, kind of delving into more of collecting his items and music and having those conversations. It's awesome. It's not something I usually get to do with people on one-to-one usually in my area. So it's just nice and refreshing to get to enjoy channels like yours and Ed's, and also Mean Mr. Mayo's channel as well, to kind of have these conversations, look at different things. You guys have some awesome collections, and so I just wanted to respond with my own video to your contest. Congratulations on 100 subscribers. That is awesome. I'm glad there's more people out there that enjoy these conversations and videos as well. As you can see behind me, I am a huge Elvis fan as well. This is a little bit of my collection, mostly of just CDs and a couple of the 45s up there, the picture sleeves that I have. Love to grow that collection a lot more, but it is kind of expensive, so just got to take it in strides. But I love your contest. I think this is awesome, and it actually brought up a lot of different memories for me that I got to reflect back on and kind of see, the reason of why I do love Elvis so much, as well as a couple other artists and kind of the history that got me there. So we're going to jump right in. My love of Elvis as my favorite artist actually started with my grandma. Actually, we call her Nana. She doesn't like to be called grandma because it makes her feel old. So my Nana is a huge Elvis fan as well. I think I've surpassed her as far as like fandom on that level, but she's a massive fan and still kind of exposed me to his music at a very young age, at like 2 to 3 years old. So basically what kind of kicked this off was she played for me one day. She had, back at the time, whenever, I believe in 1998, whenever the remastered version of Aloha from Hawaii came out on CD, this version right here, she played it for me, and I absolutely loved it. Something about just the way it sounded, even at a young age, 5, 6 years old, hearing this CD, or probably, it would have been 4 years old, 4 years old, hearing this CD, just ignited something in me as far as the band, his voice, the way the production sounded. Even at that young of an age, being able to recognize that as like a feeling like, whoa, this is incredible. She tells stories all the time that whenever she got the CD and played it for me, all I kept saying is, I want to hear Caught in a Trap, Nana. I want to hear Caught in a Trap. And she couldn't figure out for a little bit what that meant or what that was, but I just kept saying it over and over. I want to hear Caught in a Trap. Well, so we were driving to a restaurant one night, and she had the CD in, and she would hit, starting track started with CC Rider, Burning Love, Something, You Gave Me a Mountain. I was like, no, those are good songs, but I want to hear Caught in a Trap. Track number 18, Suspicious Minds. Obviously, I'm caught in a trap. I can't walk out. Hit that, and I just started like going nuts in the back seat. Just loved it. Then ended up getting my own copy of this CD. I still, to this day, listen to this at least, different songs on shuffle on my iPod several times throughout the week. This performance on its own is one of my favorites of Elvis. I always come back. I know as far as like Elvis history, there's several performances that stick out in his career, kind of stereotypically, but Aloha from Hawaii for me is just one that is just amazing. Listening to the power of his voice, I mean, as soon as that drum line hits with Ronnie Tutt and going into CC Rider and even, hitting it right again with Burning Love, I mean, they're powerhouse performances. You jump up to You Gave Me a Mountain, Steamroller Blues is just an amazing bluesy funk track. Then Suspicious Minds, love that he sings I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. And then American Trilogy, I mean, that pinnacle of when the horns hit, drums come in, and just, man, he hits those notes, just taking it to the next level. Still love this performance, love the DVDs of this, love watching this. But going back to as far as the history, she had that CD. I ended up getting a copy of that CD. I loved it, and I loved the song Suspicious Minds. And then it hit, I heard on the radio, Kentucky Rain. Man, fell in love with that song also. And so I remember for my birthday when I was little, my mom went out and got me actually the CD version of this album, Elvis Golden Records Volume 5. And it had Kentucky Rain on it. She saw that it had Kentucky Rain, Suspicious Minds, so she got it. Little did she know that I would fall in love with the rest of the songs on this album. I believe that one was also the remastered kind of version at that time around 1998, where they added like Edge of Reality and several other songs on there that weren't included on the original vinyl copy. But yeah, from anything from In the Ghetto, Clean Up Your Own Backyard, If I Can Dream, all of these All these songs are just, you know, right up there at the top for me. I love this. And you'll kind of get the idea, the general theme, that I am very big into 70s Elvis. I am a huge fan of 70s Elvis. I love all of Elvis, but as far as all the generations of his life and music, 70s is where it hits for me. I love the production and the background. Love the band that he picked out. I mean, James Burton, Ronnie Tutt, Glenn Hardin, the Stamps Quartet, Sweet Inspirations. I mean, you truly know that Elvis knew how to put together a band and knew the sound that he wanted, even though, you know, he might be able to communicate something like physically, or just be able to instinctively hear a sound and go, that's what I want, or put people together, hear them individually, put them together. That's just incredible. Next CD I got that really hit it for me also was the deluxe version, or the special edition of That's the Way It Is, the original boxy set, I believe 2001 when they remastered the movie also. Got the movie, got this CD as a birthday gift as well, and just played it over and over and over again, to where actually the CDs on its own are a little bit damaged, this original copy, just because of how often I played it. And I love this, and I still like How the Web Was Woven. That's one of my favorite Elvis songs that you only really hear with the That's the Way It Is pack as well. Next one that went on, and where I still have a lot of great memories, is Elvis on Stage, 1970. Like you had mentioned in your video, every song on this album is fantastic. Just an amazing early 70s Elvis concert performance. Love it. It's fantastic. My Nana and I used to drive around in her car listening to Release Me and CC Rider and The Wonder View over and over and over again. Runaway on this album is fantastic as well. I really do love this Elvis album. Next one, another copy off of your video, which did it for me also, was From Elvis in Memphis. Another amazing album. Coming out of the movie soundtracks, going in with Chip's moment in the studio. This Elvis, you can tell, is just super energetic, is ready to start making recordings again, good music. Amazing. I love that the title track is wearing that Loved On look. I mean, just gets you ready. This sets the tempo for the whole album. Like you said, there's a couple on here that I'm not, you know, super crazy about, but I definitely listen to this the whole way through. I will play this on repeat over and over again. Going with the theme of all the memories I have with my Nana as far as listening to Elvis is, you know, Elvis's Christmas album. Listening to Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me. This is actually the first album, or the first song of Elvis's that she played for me, and I loved it. And every Christmas would just, you know, Nana, I want to hear Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me, and we would just dance around in the living room by the Christmas tree and everything, and just loved it. I'm so thankful for just the way she introduced me to Elvis, and to just spiraling off into other good music. It's been, you know, Elvis has stuck with me all these years, and I find more and more about him. I'm also researching more and more and trying to find as much new music as possible, different versions, things like that. My wife actually thinks I'm a little bit crazy. She's like, you've got 15 versions of Suspicious Minds. I'm like, well, baby, you got to. There's different concerts out there. You got to hear the whole thing. They're all different. And anyways, going back to That's the Way It Is, another top 5 Elvis albums right here. I love this album. Every song is fantastic. Like I mentioned earlier, How the Web Was Woven, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, I've Lost You. Man, just love to listen to that over and over again. Bridge Over Troubled Water, all those. This is actually I have the U.S. pressing quadra disc of Elvis Aloha from Hawaii. This one is actually a German pressing that I picked up a couple weeks ago. And I've actually noticed the sound is different. The mix is completely different than the U.S. pressing. This one actually sounds 10 times better than the U.S. pressing of Aloha from Hawaii. It's not tinny. It has a bunch of bass. Just sounds a lot more sonically improved. I love this. I would actually get rid of my U.S. pressing long before I would get rid of this one. I love this pressing. One of my top favorite Elvis albums as well. Many people might not agree on this, but I really, really love every track on this album, especially Woman Without Love, which is kind of obscure, but is Elvis's Today album. I love this album. I think this is Elvis right before a little bit of the decline from 76 to 77, 1975. Love TRUBLE, the sticker here. Love Woman Without Love. You know, we've got Pieces of My Life. I think every song on this album is choice as well. Like I said, some people might not agree, and I totally get that, but I will listen to this on vinyl over and over and over again. So yeah, love Elvis. He's my top artist as far as that goes. Love researching about him. Love all the music. I'm sorry I'm recording this with the front-facing camera, so everything's a little bit opposite. But jumping gears a little bit as far as what type of music I like. It jumps from Elvis to another relative of mine who introduced me to another group that I love as well. Have seen them live in concert back in 2015. Was an amazing concert. Fantastic. Love almost every song that they put out. They're just amazing in their own right. And that is Fleetwood Mac. Love Fleetwood Mac. The Rumors album there's almost no other album like it. It's incredible. It's hard to break down their albums as far as like what I like, because I like all of them. Their 2-disc, very best of Fleetwood Mac set. I love that. There's not a bad song on that album as well. I remember listening, my Uncle Dwayne is actually who introduced me to Fleetwood Mac, and huge influence as far as music on my life. He loves so much classic rock, introduced me to different ranges, so I've got my nana with Elvis and Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, all those different areas. Then we're jumping a little bit ahead in decades with my uncle who loves Fleetwood Mac and all the 80s, 70s bands. Earliest memory of Fleetwood Mac is actually my aunt and uncle had the CD The Dance that they released, I believe in 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there. Amazing performance. I listened to that CD over and over again. For some reason I can't find it in my collection. It's got to be somewhere. I must have misplaced it, but I know I have it on my iPod and I listen to it all the time. Actually, one of my favorite songs and memories from that album I remember is my uncle and my dad and I were driving back to the house. He put that CD in, immediately went to track 13, I think, which is My Little Demon. I think they only sing it on this particular album. Love that song. Kind of a more obscure Fleetwood Mac song, but love that song. And then immediately went to the next track, which was Silver Springs. My dad went to change it, and my uncle was like, no, you can't change that. Dylan loves this song. So love Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. Also love, of course, just Fleetwood Mac self-titled album as well, Monday Morning. Man, that is a good song. Love Fleetwood Mac. Like I said, they put on an amazing concert. Just wanted to give you an idea as well as far as sort of my collection as it stands. And this is kind of a breakdown of what I've got. I don't know how well you can see that there. But we've got Elvis up here in this kind of section. It just spirals off to, Lynn Anderson, Johnny Cash. We've got Fleetwood Mac in here. We've got Nat King Cole, John Conley, branching off into country. Mickey Gilley. I'm a huge Mickey Gilley fan. Ronnie Millsap, things like that. Always looking to grow my collection, obviously, like any person who loves music is. But I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of share some of these memories. Your sub contest actually brought up a lot of memories for me that have been really cool, especially about my uncle. He's battling an illness right now, so it's really cool to kind of reflect on these memories and just, be comforted by music as well. Music is something that just kind of goes across all cultures, and I'm so glad that we can relate in that way, especially with Elvis being such a huge part of my life. Keep growing with your channel. Love to keep watching your stuff. Definitely have subscribed to you, and I'm excited to keep watching Ed with the King's Court, me and Mr. Mayo as well. You guys are awesome, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it.